Dan Perry joins us once again. Dan, we are reporting on these Houthi missiles and drones that are sent over on a near daily basis. However, in the broader spectrum of the Houthis' objectives here and Israel's mind to defend them, if the Houthi attacks do continue, would Israel consider a direct retaliation in Yemen, or is this merely the strategy here to contain them through defense only?
Oh, they've already struck in Yemen. Israel struck several times at the port of Hodeidah, at the airport in Sana'a. They just 10 days ago took out half the Houthi so-called government, including the prime minister, who was essentially assassinated by Israel. So they've taken steps. The question is whether they're willing to escalate the steps, and part of the calculus here is that the Houthi missiles seem to be easily interceptable. In the entire almost 2 years of Houthi attacks on Israel, ostensibly to support the Palestinians in Gaza, one person has been killed. Now that's a tragedy, of course, but it may not be enough to drag Israel into war with the part of Yemen occupied by the Houthis. They could take more drastic action. They might try to find a way to assassinate the very well protected and very stealthy Abdel Malik al-Houthi, who is the head of the entire Houthi mafia, and whose death may move the needle, change the equation, maybe bring them to heel. I suppose they could also blockade the port of Hodeidah, but entirely. I mean, put it completely out of commission, and that would cause great damage to civilians in Yemen. And I think Israel, that has suffered great reputational and other damage because of the harm it has brought to civilians in Gaza, isn't eager to face something similar about killings of civilians in Yemen. So the Houthis are deploying the same jihadist strategy, which is to create a situation where to defeat them, you have to kill people around them, civilians and children and so forth. And then the world, in its sort of simplistic view, sees you as the aggressor. And so Israel and everyone, the West, don't have great options. I think the Houthis, who have caused directly or indirectly the deaths of about 500,000 Yemenis since taking over much of Yemen about a decade ago, and who rule by torture and criminality, and who have presided over a disastrous cholera epidemic caused by their actions, need to be seen as a regional problem. In the Arab world, if they want to be useful tomorrow in Doha, need to also pay some attention to this. Remember that the UAE and Saudi Arabia for some years tried to fight the Houthis and sadly were unsuccessful. I think they may want to resume that at this point, that the Houthis have caused so much damage, not just to Yemen, and are risking so much further escalation by continually attacking Israel, but also over the past 2 years, even though of late they've somewhat stopped, have badly disrupted global maritime trade, about a quarter of which goes through the Red Sea up to the Suez Canal, and in so doing have badly harmed Egypt's economy, which depends on foreign currency revenue in the Suez Canal. The Houthis are a scourge, and it shouldn't just be Israel's problem.
Yes, Dan Perry, thank you very much for giving us your insight on that topic.